everybody and welcome back to my channel. So I've been going through the process recently of kind of going through my makeup collection. I found some new storage that I'm moderately happy with. I'm kind of down with the setup now. I think that I've got something that's going to work for me and that I like. So I've been trying to whittle things down and get rid of stuff that I've just had for way too long and don't need. Don't worry, because I will be dedicating an entire video to talking about that and showing you how I'm storing things and basically just updating you on my makeup collection, which is actually probably a lot smaller than the last time I showed you, which is a good thing, I think. I was kind of going through my products and swatching them on the back of my hand, and I forgot how much I love MAC lipsticks. So today I thought it'd be interesting to show you my collection, talk about some of my favourites. And I have quite a few. I don't have as many as some people may do, but I have a good kind of couple of handfuls of them. And I've just realised I've messed up the entire order I was going to talk about these in. Let me just sort that out. So starting off with actually I think probably one of the first MAC lipsticks I ever bought. This is Patisserie. It's a very sheer colour. It's probably one of the only sheer lipsticks that I have from MAC, and it's a very natural Your Lips but creamier and pink kind of colour. This is so great for just throwing in your bag and just popping on without even having to look in a mirror. So many of these lipsticks are really nostalgic to me. I feel like buying a MAC lipstick really marked a time in my life, and I really remember every single one I purchased and when I bought it. So this one really reminds me of my first kind of blogging days. It's a very nice glossy but not really shiny kind of finish, and it's very moisturising as well, so I feel like that one doesn't get enough love in my collection. The second one is much more of a recent purchase. Again, I gave into a bit of a hype with this one, and it's Velvet Teddy. This is probably one of the harder to find shades at the moment because it's always sold out. I managed to have a lucky day and turned up to a counter and they had one, and I don't want to say Kylie Jenner, but you kind of have to acknowledge Kylie Jenner when you talk about this, although I feel like on me it never gives off that whole very 90s, very grungy vibe. It's a lot more like a natural lip colour but slightly darker, so I feel like it's actually a really wearable one, a lot more wearable than I thought it would be. And in fact I actually reach for this quite a lot. If I have a lot going on my eyes, or if I have a lot of blusher on or just something and I want to really pare back my lips, this is the shade that I go for. It's a matte finish, and the MAC matte finishes, that's really hard to say, are actually my favourites. I feel like I'm going through every single matte one and trying to add it to my collection because I think of all the finishes and the textures that they do, the mattes are just the best. So while I was buying that, I also purchased this next one, which is Mehr, and it's very similar. It's on the same lines. It's another matte one. It's slightly more pinky though. I would actually say this is the closest colour of all these lipsticks to my natural lip colour. It's kind of pinky with cooler undertones. It's not my favourite, I have to say. I think it makes me look a little bit unhealthy, but it's still a very nice colour. It's one of those really cool toned pinky purpley shades that are really in right now. Personally, it doesn't suit me too well. I think it's more to do with my skin tone and the kind of the pale side, not really going with this kind of shade, but nonetheless it is a beautiful colour. So that is Mehr. Now I forgot I even owned this next colour, which kind of just shows you that I don't appreciate it probably as much as I should. This is Crosswires, and it's a cream sheen finish, so it's kind of somewhere between the lusters like Patisserie and then the mattes. It's just got a nice kind of creamy, comfortable feeling formula, so actually it feels really nice to wear. But this shade for some reason I don't get that much wear out of. It's a very pretty pink. It actually has, I think, some slight shimmer in it, which is probably the reason that I don't reach for it as often as I should. It's very rosy, so it's a kind of darker coloured pink. So if you're into very rosy colours, rose tone lips, this is such a nice one to go for. It does make for a really beautiful everyday colour though. It kind of just goes with a lot of different makeup looks, and I feel like it would go for a lot of different skin tones as well. So quite a nice one if you're looking for an everyday pink. So moving on to more kind of pinky pinks, there is actually one lipstick that I haven't got with me, and I literally spent an hour before I sat down to film this video searching for it, and I'm really sad because I can't find it anywhere, and that one is Tropic Tonic. It's a beautiful, very intense bright coral, but this one I feel like is the closest to that, so I will show you this instead. And this is Vegas Volt. It's pretty much like Tropic Tonic but in an amplified formula, so it's a lot creamier, a little bit more glossy but still has that really intense pigment. This is usually the colour that I gravitate towards in the summer. I feel like this was my lip colour of 2014. Is that when I wore it most? I love wearing this one with really minimal makeup, so just some tinted moisturiser thrown on, a bit of bronzer, some mascara, and then this lipstick, and that is just my perfect carefree summer look. It wears really nicely too. It just seems to settle down into a kind of nice stain once the creaminess sort of disappears, and it's just one of my favourite matte colours, so I would definitely put this in the top 5. Next I have Impassioned, and this is just pink on steroids. This is so bright and so intense. It's almost fluorescent. So if you're a lover of an amazing bright bold pink, this is just so the one to go for. It's an amplified formula again, so it has that nice creaminess to it, but it almost looks a little bit like a matte because it is so pigmented. I went through such a phase of wearing pink lipsticks. I think if you scroll way back into my Instagram to about a year or so ago, I was just pink lipstick, couldn't stop. And this one was such a staple in my pink lipstick routine. I absolutely loved it. I kind of feel like cracking out the pink lipsticks again because I tend to go for reds or nudes at the moment. I'm pretty much an all or nothing kind of person right now when it comes to lipsticks. Now the next two I bought from a collection and I thought it was limited, so I just snapped pretty much everything up. But it turns out this is actually a real permanent line now, and they've actually expanded it too, which I'm so excited about. And this is Relentlessly Red. It's from the matte range, but it's a very special kind of matte. It's a slightly different one to some of the colours, and these are all based around Ruby Woo and the kind of formula of that. I know some people don't love the way that Ruby Woo sits, but for me it's just the perfect matte. As you can see, I have it on right now. I think as long as you're wearing a really nice hydrating lip balm underneath these, they're just fine. They last really well. They don't ever go too dry on my lips, and in fact they feel very comfortable for a matte lipstick. So this is Relentlessly Red, and probably the worst name of all the matte lipsticks because it is not red at all, it is pink. It's very similar to Impassioned, if not probably a little bit more toned down, so it's not quite as intense and fluorescent and highlighter pink. So with this one and all of the really matte lipsticks, they just last for such a long time. They really stick around on your lips. You don't need to reapply at all. So they just have that beautiful soft smooth finish to them, not dry, not cakey, just like you have velvet on your lips. So the second one from that range was Dangerous. Now this is a seriously fluorescent red, not quite along the lines of something like Morange, which I totally want. I can't believe I haven't bought that yet, but it is still a very orangey tone red. In fact, it's probably way more orange than it actually is red, but I love that. So same formula as Relentlessly Red and Ruby Woo. I really can't get enough of this formula of lipstick. I just think they're the ones to go for a bold lip. Next one is a staple in my MAC lipstick collection. I think if I had to throw every single one away and just keep one, it would have to be this. Lady Danger. This is the perfect red lipstick. So warm and yellow based, so beautiful and brightening, just an amazing red, and something that I haven't managed to find in any other collection, any other brand. Lady Danger is just Lady Danger, and there is nothing that compares to it. So if you go back a few years on my channel, this is just literally the only thing I wore on my lips. As you can see though, I'm still a massive lover of red lips, and I feel like this really converted me to it. It was probably one of the very first bold red lipsticks I ever bought, and before this I didn't really wear lipstick at all. So I feel like I owe a lot to Lady Danger. I just absolutely love it. If you're looking for a warm toned, really yellowy orange red, then this is just the one. Just look no further, this is the lipstick. So back to Ruby Woo, I do actually have the original Ruby Woo here, and that is what I'm wearing on my lips today. This has become more of the kind of red that I'm really into, something a little bit more brick red, a little bit darker. This is such a statement red though. I feel like this is the ultimate red. People say that this is quite cool tone, but I feel like on me it's just very neutral. It's definitely not warm, and I don't think it's very bluey at all. So if you're looking for a very kind of down the middle red, this is the one. So moving on to the kind of more berry tone, darker colours, this is Diva, and I feel like this just doesn't get appreciated for how beautiful it is. When it comes to berry lipsticks, I feel like there are so many options, and people may not always think that they're going to suit them, and that is really because there are just so many different undertones. So there's sort of purpley undertone berries, which personally I don't really love on me, and then there's very kind of brown ones, and then very red ones, and this is a very red toned deep burgundy colour, and actually it's really well pigmented. Sometimes with darker lipsticks they can be very patchy and they can go on uneven, and you end up having to blot it and reapply about 4 or 5 times, but with this one you don't really have to do that. I think one coat, blot it, and then another, and you're set with a really pigmented, really dark, beautiful lip. So then the last lipstick in my collection, and I feel like we're ending on a little bit of a down note because I don't really love this one, but it is a beautiful colour nonetheless, and this is Rebel. Now this is a very purpley toned deep berry, so I feel like that's the reason I don't get on with it. It just doesn't really suit my skin tone, but I've seen this on people and it's the main reason that I bought it, because it just looks amazing on some people. I think the reason I don't love it is because it's a satin, and it's the only satin I have in my my whole collection, and for some reason this just doesn't come out as pigmented as I would like it to. I feel like if this was a matte it would be much different. I'd probably get on with it a lot better, but it's a little bit patchy. It doesn't always look as even as I would like it to, so when you're talking about a really bold dark lipstick, it's not best to have a patchy looking colour. I do still get it out every now and then and try it because I just love this sort of shade. I think it looks beautiful on so many people. I think those with dark hair and darker features could probably pull this off a lot better, but for me, with the kind of yellowy straw hair that I have going on at the moment, it doesn't really work. So that is Rebel, and those are all my MAC lipsticks bar the one that I couldn't find. To finish off, I'm just going to go through my top 5, and I will try and pull these out in order and go from 5 to number 1. So I think Velvet Teddy is probably number 5. This is such a beautiful nude. I love this. It's a really great everyday colour. Number 4 is Diva. Such an underappreciated shade and really worth checking out if you love a dark burgundy lip. And then I think at number 3 it has to be Vegas Vault. This is just the ultimate coral. I think if you're looking for a really brightening summery shade, as we are coming into summer now, Vegas Vault is the one for that. Number 2, I think number 2 has to be Ruby Woo. It's a classic, it's a red, it's beautiful, really matte, and I just love it so much. And then number 1, of course, it had to be Lady Danger. I owe my love of red lipstick to this, and it's such a unique colour. It's a really different red, not something that I think you can find in many places, and just so bright and bold and intense and amazing. So Lady Danger, you are number 1. So that is it from me today. I hope you enjoyed watching that, and just before I go, I would love it if you could all leave me a comment down below telling me what your absolute number 1 favourite MAC lipstick is, because I find that so interesting. I love to know what everyone's favourite is. So make sure you comment before you go, and I will see you all soon. Bye!